Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds.
Hey everybody, this is Evan and John, and you're listening to the Boomer and X Show.
Hello and welcome everybody to the Boomer and X Show, and thanks for joining us again.
Hey everybody.
We're going to do a little sports short we missed last week because we were working on something else that we hope to bring you later. Evan, we wrote random stuff down on paper and tore it up and threw it into a hat, and you pulled out 5 topics for us to talk about.
Yep, Sports Illustrated's Person of the Year, NFL MVP talk, NCAA bowl games, fantasy football, and NFL upcoming games.
Excellent. Well, let's jump right into the Sports Illustrated Sports Person of the Year. I guess there's a little bit of a controversy.
Well, first off, Serena Williams won it.
Right. Serena Williams won it. She won, for the calendar year, I know she won 3/4 of the Grand Slam.
Yeah.
Did she win the other one in the previous year? Do you know whether she did or not?
I don't know. I don't no clue.
The tennis Grand Slam is Wimbledon, U.S. Open, the Australian Open, and the French Open, and I'm not sure what order they occur in. Wimbledon finishes right around July 4th, and the U.S. Open, I know, is right around Labor Day weekend. The other two, I'm not sure just when they happen.
Which one did she lose?
I don't know. I'm not a tennis fan. I don't really follow it. I mean, way back in the day when John McEnroe and Jimmy Connors played, I followed it, and that was a long, long time ago.
So the controversy you brought up initially was why American Pharaoh. A lot of people are saying he should have won.
Yeah, there's a segment of the population out there that felt like the accomplishments there were more deserving, and not to knock Serena, certainly, and she has had a wonderful, wonderful career, and it has gone on very long. And she has stayed at or near the top of her game a long time.
But is it the sports person for this year?
It's for this year. It's for this year. Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people are saying, because American Pharaoh did something that hasn't been done in forever. And does the name sports person of the year disqualify him?
There are people making that argument. In fact, I just looked at a poll just as we were getting ready to do this, and there was roughly 3/4 said that Serena deserved to win, and roughly 3/4 said you can't consider a horse for this. So there were 2 different questions.
So what if they changed the name to Athlete of the Year?
Athlete of the Year. I think that's the answer right there.
See, when we initially started talking about it, because you said it used to be
Sportsman of the Year, and then it became Sports Person of the Year.
Because to include women.
Right.
So
very, very rightfully so.
Yeah. So
I'd like to see it be Athlete of the Year, because not only did I think, and this isn't necessarily a criteria of the voting or the choice, but I think if the actions of an athlete bring interest and viewership to that sport that wasn't already there, I think that's something to be considered a part of.
Well, I don't quite understand how they pick. Like, is it like a committee, or do they vote?
Well, I do know that a part of the equation was their readers, submitted votes.
Okay.
Who, from what I have read, leaned more toward American Pharaoh.
Of Sports Illustrated's readers?
Yes.
Okay.
But they ignored that, and they went with Serena Williams. And look, sure, he's a horse. He's not a person.
Because I know you said 1 year, because you looked at the list of all the people who have won. You said 1 year they went to philanthropic.
Yeah, 1987 they had like 7 or 8 different winners, and it was all with people that helped abused children, charity spokesmen, helped
Were those
needy
were
children.
they athletes?
They
then?
were athletes.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
they were athletes. But they were being recognized for off of the field
Yeah.
accomplishments. Let me say this about the spirit, because in the wording it talks about the spirit of competition.
Mhm.
The trainer and the owner of American Pharaoh conducted themselves with utmost professionalism throughout the entire thing. And that was one thing that made me pull for the horse so hard, was the owner said he wanted to win the Kentucky Derby for himself. He wanted American Pharaoh to win the Triple Crown for the fans. And then after the Triple Crown, there was a race that he won. And then in the Traverse, he came in second. So now you have this seed of doubt thrown in. And then in the lead up to the Breeders' Cup Classic, he said he wanted American Pharaoh to win for American Pharaoh, for his name.
The Grand Slam.
The Grand Slam,
Which he did, in fact, win.
Which he did. He did win the Grand Slam, and in fact, they had to give something a name that had never happened before. So, part of my wanting to recognize American Pharaoh, in addition to being in addition to being a horse racing fan, is that the owner and the trainer conducted themselves with utmost professionalism.
My main thing is because I didn't follow it as close as you did, so I don't know anything about the trainers. But just the fact that he's done racing, and this is pretty much the only year he could get that. I mean, they're not going to give it to him next year. He'll be a breeding next year.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, and
this is his only year for it.
That's it.
And Serena, they based it off of her whole life, pretty much, things she's done throughout her entire life. And he thrived this year. He deserved it this year. And give it to her next year.
And
she'll be there.
And he won so many Grade 1 stakes.
Yeah.
So many. And anyway, so that's my vote. I would have gone American Pharaoh. Let's move on to MVP talk in the NFL. Now, the last time we talked about this 2 or 3 weeks ago, we didn't spend a whole lot of time on it, but we talked about it a little bit, and I couldn't, to me, you couldn't.
The front runners were just now kind of popping out.
And they were Cam Newton and Tom Brady.
And Carson Palmer.
Carson Palmer, I would call 1A, 1B, and 2.
Okay,
yeah.
I agree.
As we stand now, with 3 games remaining and 13 games having been played, I have to say Cam.
Yeah.
He has emerged. Now,
definitely.
something may happen over the next 3 weeks that would make me change my mind, but I would have to say that Cam has done it.
Originally, we were saying the main reason Tom Brady's in here is because he has no weapons, and he's still getting it done.
Right.
So, they lost to...
They lost to Denver.
Yeah,
and
they lost to Denver.
They lost another... Who else did they lose to?
No, they didn't lose last week.
They lost 2 games.
They've lost 2
They lost 2 in a row, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they lost 2 in a row?
They lost 2 in a row.
Wow, I guess I wasn't paying attention last week. Anyways, Cam and them are still undefeated.
Undefeated.
And he's the main reason why, I would say.
Absolutely.
And, I personally, I like the guy. I know it's seems 50-50. Some people hate him, some people love him.
I've been a bit of a detractor in the past because I thought his behavior at times is kind of thuggish and unleadership wise.
What do you think? We got a
quarterback,
a Cam that's hot and winning, and he's how he is now, and then when they're losing, he's how you.
Well, I remember specifically watching a game in the 2014 season where he pretty much started a fight with Saints, and to me that's. First of all, I don't like to see that. I mean, if I wanted to watch that, I would be a hockey fan. But I just find it unbecoming behavior.
Yeah.
But let me say this: he is winning me over.
How so?
I love the deal about finding every time he scores, finding a kid in the end zone, and sometimes he has to go through some trouble to.
Oh, I mean,
do
just
that.
this week he had Julius Peppers threw the ball away from him. He went and got it. And they went and found the kid, and it turned out that kid, his dad died from cancer and promised he'd take him to a game, and he was there with his grandpa because his dad had passed away.
Really?
Yeah. So
Julius Peppers, he plays for Green Bay, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, that was a few weeks ago.
What did I say last week?
Yeah. But so anyway, when there was a story there
to the kid that he had no idea, he was just giving it to a random kid.
But and he's elevated his game. He has elevated his game. He's not.
They definitely don't look at. Well, he gives a ball to a kid every time he scores. That didn't go into MVP talk. We're putting it in there.
We're putting it in there because I do believe that as you endear yourself a little bit and become a little more palatable to the masses, that it probably helps you.
See, like I said, I've always liked him. Now, like you said, especially LSU fans, most of them hate him because of all this Auburn. They bought him.
Years ago, it seemed like there was a little dirty dealing in him getting to Auburn, but that's all water way under the bridge. But
that is why a lot of people don't like him.
Here's where he's really impressing me as far as on the field. And in addition to winning, he is a freakish athlete. He is unbelievably large and strong and tough for a quarterback. You see him take runs and hit the goal line like you don't see quarterbacks doing.
He'll take hits.
Yes, big hits. And when he does it, you're not worried that he's going to get hurt because he's that big and strong. But he's mastering the pocket. He's throwing so much better, and he doesn't have a whole lot to throw to, and yet he's throwing better. He's throwing very few interceptions. He's throwing several touchdowns, and he's running for touchdowns. And I'm becoming more and more impressed. And if I were to have to vote today, I would vote Cam Newton MVP. Brady would be second. Carson Palmer would probably be third.
So we've got Tom Brady's getting his weapons back. Gronk's back. I believe Amendola. No.
Edelman is yeah.
So I don't know. We'll get to once we talk about the upcoming games. But Cam Newton, they're going up against the Giants, and I kind of think if they lose and Tom Brady's got his weapons back, losing is the only thing that's putting Tom Brady out of this conversation for me. They're losing, and even though he doesn't have anyone to throw to, I guess an MVP would make it happen, and there for a while he was, but then they started losing. So, do you say Tom's out of it?
No, I do not say he's out of it. I say that if this were a horse race now with 1 furlong remaining, that Cam Newton is a length and a half ahead.
Okay.
So no, Tom's not out of it. No,
yeah, I agree.
But 2 or 3 weeks ago, I didn't have a clear leader. Now I do.
Yeah.
Bowl games,
all 100 million of them.
Yes, Evan. The NCAA has now sanctioned
a record
40
setting.
Yes,
40.
Now there are either 127 or 129 Division I football teams. If you have 40 bowl games, simple math, which seems to have eluded the NCAA, says you've got to have 80 teams.
And that means you got to have a good bit of losers in there.
Well,
who are still at a bowl game.
First of all, they lowered it down to 6-6. You have to have 6 wins.
Oh, okay.
So
I call that a losing season.
Well, I do too. To me, 500 isn't winning.
Yes,
it's not. But even at that, saying you've got to have 6 wins, but we're going to send 80 teams out of 127 or 9. Well, guess what? You're going to have some 5 and 7 teams in bowls.
Yep, and there are.
Now, with that said, and I don't like that, I will watch that.
Hey, well, I guess knowing you and a lot of football fans out there, yeah, it's a lot of teams probably a lot of people don't care about at a lot of weird-sounding bowls that a lot of people don't care about.
Yes,
but
you're
you know
correct.
What? It's December. It'll be over next month.
Yeah, that's right.
And all this complaining we're doing about all these bowl games, we wish we weren't because there are no more football on.
That's why I will watch, because college football is winding down and we've got 41 or 2 games left, and that's it.
Yep.
And that includes the semifinal and the final, and that's it. So, yes, I will watch starting this Saturday, December 19th, the New Mexico Bowl with Arizona and New Mexico. I think Arizona wins.
New Mexico.
All right. The Las Vegas Bowl, BYU and Utah.
BYU.
I agree. Camellia Bowl. Ohio and Appalachian State. Appalachian State was a power in 1AA for years, and they won several national championships.
Ohio.
They have moved up to 1A, and I say Appy State is going to win that. The AutoNation Cure Bowl, not sure what we're curing. Georgia State and San Jose State.
Georgia State.
San Jose State. And here's why: because Georgia State is a Sun Belt, and the New Orleans Bowl, which had been the permanent home of ULL for several years, is now
Louisiana Tech, Arkansas
State. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tech.
Yeah, me too.
Western Kentucky and USF in the Miami Beach Bowl.
USF.
I'll go with Western Kentucky. Famous Idaho
Potato
Bowl.
I had Western Kentucky highlighted.
Okay, so we're both with Western Kentucky on that. Akron and Utah State in the Idaho Bowl, Potato Bowl. I'll go with Akron.
Utah State.
Okay. Toledo and Temple.
Toledo.
I'm going to go with Temple. They've had an excellent
What's
year.
the Marmot Boca Raton? I know it's in Boca Raton, Florida.
It's in Boca Raton. I don't know
what's a marmot.
I don't know.
Some fish? Some company down there that sells fish? The SD County, I guess that's San Diego.
San
Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl.
Yeah, there's a name for you.
Boise State versus Northern Illinois. I got Boise.
I got to go with Boise State. I mean, if nothing else, they still should be winning bowl games for what they did in the Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma in 2007.
Dang, reaching.
I'm giving them. That was the best football game I've ever seen in my life. The GoDaddy Bowl, Georgia Southern and Bowling Green.
Bowling Green.
Sure, why not? The Popeyes Bahamas Bowl.
Middle Tennessee versus Western Michigan. Two I don't cares, and I'm gonna go with Western Michigan.
Just to be contrary, I'll go with Western Michigan too.
Hawaii.
Hawaii Bowl.
The Hawaii Cincinnati versus San Diego State. I'm going to go with Cincinnati.
I'm going to go with Cincinnati. I got a little bit of trivia for you. Guess who coaches Cincinnati?
Michael Phelps.
You're close. Tommy Tuberville. He was the coach at Auburn years ago, and I think he won a national championship, and that was pre-Cameron.
Yeah,
so,
Cam Newton.
No, Cam Newton. I'm thinking, wow, I just named the LSU offensive coordinator there. Yeah, it was pre-Cam Newton. But anyway, Tommy Tuberville is now on a smaller stage and doing fairly well there. The St. Petersburg Bowl, Connecticut, and Marshall. The Sun Bowl, Miami, Washington State.
I got Miami.
Okay. The St. Petersburg Bowl.
Marshall versus UConn. Marshall.
Oh, I'm going to go with Marshall on that one, and I am going to say Washington State romps over Miami. The Heart of Dallas Bowl, Washington and Southern Mississippi.
Zaxby's Heart of Dallas
Yeah,
Bowl.
I guess that's the chicken deal, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I got Washington over Southern Miss.
Yeah, I think so.
Duke versus Indiana at the New Era Pinstripe. Duke.
I'm going to go with Indiana. Duke was tearing it up early in the year, and when that whole thing with Miami happened to them and they got screwed out of that game, they fell off a cliff. So I'm going to go with Indiana in that one.
Camping World Independence in Shreveport, Louisiana.
My hometown. Before I moved away from Shreveport, I went to every Independence Bowl they had, and I've been to several since I did move away.
You went last year, didn't you?
I did go 2 or 3 years ago. I didn't go last year.
Tulsa versus Virginia Tech. I got Tulsa.
I'm going to go with Virginia Tech. And the interesting storyline here, and you're stretching to find one, is Frank Beamer, who's been coaching for 29 years. This is his last game. He is retiring. I'd say that his squad sends him out a winner, and that's in the Camping World Independence Bowl.
All right, we only got 100 left. Let's roll with it. Foster Farms, Nebraska versus UCLA. I got UCLA.
I'm going to go with UCLA also.
Military Bowl presented by Northrop Grumman. Navy versus Pittsburgh. I got Navy.
I'm going to go with the Navy also.
Quick Lane, Central Michigan versus Minnesota.
I like Minnesota.
I like Central Michigan.
The Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. There's a lot of military presence in the bowls now.
Air Force versus California. I got California.
Yeah, I think Cal. The Russell Athletic Bowl.
Now here we're getting into some ranked games. North Carolina versus Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
I got Baylor.
This should be a good game.
Yeah.
This should be a good game. I'm going to go with North Carolina, but I think that's going to be an excellent game.
Nova Homes Loans, Arizona. Colorado State versus Nevada. Colorado State.
I think so, too. The Advo Who Cares V100 Texas Bowl.
You know, this will be a good game. LSU versus Texas Tech. I got LSU winning.
I see LSU as a 7.5-point favorite here. I'm trying to be objective about this.
Okay.
And not let how my utter contempt for the whole situation makes me feel now.
So you got Texas Tech?
I got Texas Tech because I know how I know I've got fatigue. I've got Les Miles fatigue. I think the team does too. So
Birmingham Bowl, Auburn versus Memphis. I got Auburn.
I got Memphis. Auburn. Auburn is.
I'm going with Auburn.
They had to reach. I'll go with Memphis.
The Belk Bowl, Mississippi State versus NC State.
Mississippi State.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. Louisville versus Texas A&M. I got A&M.
Wow. Yeah, I'll go with A&M.
I think I'm picking all the teams that are on the road. Well,
it's a bowl.
Yeah. I mean, but most of them are like kind of close, you know.
Yeah.
National. Did I skip one? No. National University Holiday Bowl, number 25, USC versus Wisconsin. I'm going USC.
You know, I'm going Wisconsin in that one. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Houston and Florida State.
Florida State.
I agree.
CFP playoff semifinal, Capital One Orange Bowl, Clemson versus Oklahoma. I got Oklahoma beating them.
You know, okay. I was starting to say what a great game, and of course it should be. It's all year long. I thought Clemson deserved to be number one, but since Oklahoma came back from that defeat of Texas, they have played the most dominant ball in the country.
And I think
Oklahoma.
Clemson, I agree too. Clemson, although we both agreed early on, they beat someone and won us over. I can't remember who, but
well, they beat Florida State and Notre Dame. Those were their two signature wins.
And you know, I was like, okay, they deserve to be at least in the top four. You know, if not number one. And Oklahoma though has never after this they have never given me that doubt, and I think they're just going to knock Clemson out here. That's in Miami Gardens, Florida.
Yep.
The CFP playoff. Why do I keep saying CFP? College football. Playoff semifinal, Goodyear Cotton Bowl, Alabama versus Michigan State.
Heart says Michigan State, head says Alabama.
Well, I'm going Alabama, heart and head.
Outback Bowl, Northwestern versus Tennessee.
Northwestern.
I agree with that. Tennessee's an 8.5-point favorite, but I like Northwestern a lot.
Me too. Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl, Michigan versus Florida. That is going to be Michigan everywhere, all over.
I think all
What's
day,
the line
every
on
day.
that one?
The line is -4.5. I may have to revisit my account and try to make a couple of bucks on that. I think Michigan romps in that.
The Battle Frog Fiesta Bowl.
Oh my God! It used to be the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, and I could swallow that.
Ohio State versus Notre Dame. I'm gonna go Ohio State.
I'm gonna pull for the asteroid to hit.
Okay.
Rose Bowl.
Yep. By Northwestern Mutual. Iowa versus Stanford. Stanford.
I'm a Stanford fan, and I think they probably have the better team. Although, you know, Iowa went undefeated and gave Michigan State a very, very good game. I'm going to go with Stanford.
You know, I actually highlighted Iowa, but I think I'm going to go with Stanford.
The Sugar Bowl, Oklahoma State and Mississippi.
I got Ole Miss.
I'll say Okie State.
That'll be another good one.
It should be a good game. The Tax Slayer Bowl, and there was talk that LSU would end up in this one, but they didn't. This is Penn State and Georgia. Georgia made a bowl?
Yep. I'm going with them, too.
Yeah, sure. Georgia. Penn State's
AutoZone, Liberty, Arkansas versus Kansas State. Arkansas.
Kansas State. Kansas State must be one of those teams that got in on a a thing.
Valero Alamo Bowl, TCU versus Oregon. TCU.
That should be a heck of a game.
Mm-hmm.
I like TCU also.
I like them mostly because they don't have to travel far.
Yeah.
Even though, like I said, I've been picking away guys. Motel 6 Cactus Bowl, Arizona State versus West Virginia.
Well, now, there's a home field advantage
Arizona State.
Yeah, Arizona State, certainly. Both of the Arizona teams kind of faltered down the stretch, but that's a long way for West Virginia to travel. I'll say Arizona State.
Speaking of Arizona, we got Glendale on January 11th. I say Alabama versus Oklahoma, and Oklahoma wins it.
I'm going to go with Oklahoma as well. Oklahoma.
That is to be decided versus to be decided, but you got Oklahoma versus Alabama also?
Yeah.
I figured you'd have Michigan State in there.
Well, I with my heart.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that segment ran way long, and send your emails and complaints to the NCAA for having 40 bowl
Not our
games.
fault. We're just the information relaying
That's right.
guys.
We were held at gunpoint to do that.
Fantasy football. Our team, so how it works, we were in first and second were seeded, which we were not. And we were actually sixth, weren't we?
We were third.
Third, I'm sorry.
Third.
So third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Third versus sixth.
4 versus 5.
4 versus 5.
And so last week we went up against number 6.
Yep.
And we won.
Yep.
Handily.
Oh, yeah. We had Doug Baldwin, who you picked up
A couple of weeks ago.
Free agent. We didn't trade for him or nothing.
He was floating around out there. And Seattle's really starting to score. It seemed like the identity of the team changed for the better when Marshawn Lynch went away. I don't know
I
why.
agree. Yeah,
but that's what it looked like happened.
I guess they were forced to try something different, and it worked.
And it worked. And
Yeah.
it worked very,
Now,
very
the
well.
the game they put Jimmy Graham in, and he was doing what Jimmy Graham does.
And then he got hurt.
He's
That was
still
against
out.
the Steelers.
Yeah, which we hit.
We beat that dude 125-75.
He had no business being there.
He had no business being there whatsoever. So we are going up against Trey's tip-top team.
Is it tip top?
Well, they're 8-5 and we're 8-5.
Well, it's just as tip top as we are, I'd
Yep.
say.
Okay.
Our quarterback conundrum has been the same all year, and we have.
And it's a good problem to have.
It's very good. We have a healthy, very accurate Ben Roethlisberger, and they're going up against Dallas. Denver. They're going against Denver,
Yeah.
and then of course we have Brady. But like we mentioned, he's getting weapons back. It showed last week.
It did.
That he had nobody.
In the two losses it showed, and I'm forgetting who the second loss was. I mean, it was Denver and there was somebody else, and then last Sunday they beat Houston with Gronk was back.
Yeah.
And made his presence felt immediately. Here's where we are right now with our fantasy team. We have Brady going up at home against Tennessee.
I love that.
I do too, and we have Roethlisberger at home against Denver.
And Denver will be playing Brock Osweiler. I'm almost 100% on that.
Right. But they'll be playing with that league-leading defense.
Good defense.
My thought process is we may shy away from some of these Steelers.
For points?
Yes.
Shy away from them as like sit Ben, play Brady, and play our two wide receivers?
Well, Golden Tate, who we have on our bench, is going up against the Saints.
And he's been sitting on that bench forever.
He's been there a while. So I am considering putting Brady in and possibly Golden Tate over Martavis Bryant.
Yeah, that's something to sleep on for sure.
Leaving Antonio Brown in.
Mm-hmm.
And
but every time we do that, the other one goes off.
I know that's we have time. I mean, we have time to decide.
Yeah.
But I want to look a little more clearly and see if, for instance, if Denver has one standout cornerback, he's gonna be on Antonio Brown. If they're more of they're just good all around, then, and here's something else: we have the Denver kicker and the Pittsburgh kicker.
That's not a big. I mean, well, I don't know. Denver had to kick 5 field goals or whatever the other night, so.
The Pittsburgh kicker has been doing. This is at least the third kicker the Steelers have had this year, and they finally got. You're right. They finally got him a good one. So that's the status of our team. We are in the semifinals.
So with what we have in right now, without those changes, what's the projection?
The projection has us by about 6 points
without making any
changes.
Crazy changes.
Here's what we're going up against: Carson Palmer,
Ugh.
Brandon Marshall, Allen Robinson, Julio Jones.
That's a good one. Yep.
C. West, Sharkandrick West. New England running back White, Antonio Gates, T.Y. Hilton, as the Carolina defense against the Giants. We have the Jets defense at Dallas.
Man, that Carolina defense last week had to have scored 100 points.
They
a 35-0 shutout.
Yeah.
That is.
So, hopefully we will be back with. If we make it to the finals, I feel real good about it, and here's why: Pittsburgh is playing Baltimore.
Yes.
Yeah. So it will be.
We'll have all of our Pittsburgh guys.
Load up on the Steelers because this league finishes on week 16. Pittsburgh's at Baltimore. It'll be full as long as they're healthy. It'll be full tilt. all Steelers, all day, all the time. We will make or break ourselves with Pittsburgh if we make it to the finals.
So I've looked at the people we're going up against. We have beat everyone that's in the playoffs right now once.
Okay, that's cool.
So
that's good.
Well,
we ended the 13-week regular season at 8-5, and we had some points issues with our wide receivers because Big Ben was missing.
Was gone. So yeah, we took a hit there for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
But I'm feeling pretty good about it, especially if we make it to the finals.
If we make it to the finals, I like that. So anyway.
Upcoming
NFL. There's Thursday night game, Tampa at St. Louis. Tampa has surprised, and I tell you who has surprised me, Jameis Winston. He has played better. He has played with more maturity. He has gotten better as the year has gone along. It seems like Lovie Smith is handling him the exact perfect way. He has definitely surprised me to the upside.
I remember saying the NFL's not the time you want to grow up. It's like you do that in college and then show your worth being a number one pick. And I was all against the guy because of he's still acting like a college freshman. But I mean, he's proven me wrong on that.
Same
that
here.
And as far as his athleticism, I've never ever questioned that.
And his football IQ and the things you hear and read, that he's got a great work ethic, that he studies film a lot, and he's really going at it. So more power to him.
All that said, I got the Rams.
I'll go with Tampa Bay. The Rams have just been woeful this year. They have no quarterback play whatsoever.
There's a Saturday.
There's a Saturday game. Yeah, the Jets at Dallas.
At Dallas, I got Jets.
I'm gonna. You know what? I think the Jets are gonna win, but I'm actually gonna be pulling a little bit for the Cowboys, and here's why.
You're tired of watching Des Bryant throw hissy fits?
No, no. This is all about the Steelers and the wild card race.
Okay.
That's what that's about. So
you got a personal thing in there, huh?
Yep.
Sunday, we got all the rest of them. Chiefs at the Ravens.
Chiefs.
Yeah, me too. Titans at Patriots. Got that Patriots. Chicago versus the Vikings. I got the Vikings.
I'll say the Bears.
Be a cold game.
Well, it should be this time of year, but
Falcons, Jaguars. I got Jaguars.
I think so. They're coming on. They're playing well. Blake Bortles has been light, and the Falcons just have fallen off a cliff.
They're doing the exact opposite of what the Jaguars are. Browns at Seahawks. I got Seahawks all day on that one.
Yeah, all day, every day. You know it.
Broncos, Steelers. I'm going Steelers. I want to say Broncos, but man, they're just not going to win.
I don't think the Broncos are going to score much, and I think although the Denver has a great defense that will keep it close, I think Pittsburgh scores. I have a hard time seeing Denver scoring more than 17.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the thing is Brock. They're trying to get that guy to throw too much, and he has to get him down the field, but he can't throw that much. I mean, he's pretty much a rookie. I mean, even though he's been there for 4 years or whatever, he's pretty much a rookie.
Now, here's the deal with this game. I'll tell you what, they're going to keep going with that, and here's why. Pittsburgh has a very stiff run defense, they give up a boatload of stuff, yards,
dump-offs and deep.
Deep stuff, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think that Denver will throw because they don't want to try to run on Pittsburgh.
But I just personally believe you can't have Brock Osweiler throwing 55, 60 times.
I agree with that, but if they try to run, they run right into the teeth of the Pittsburgh defense.
So I see a good game, but not a high-scoring one. Probably a defensive beat down.
21-17.
I'm gonna say, man, like
21-13,
7-14.
Wow. I'm gonna go 21-16, 17, something like that.
All right, we got the Texans at the Colts. Texans.
Yeah, the Colts. Yeah, not good. Texans.
And the Buffalo Bills versus the Redskins.
Well, that's an intriguing one because both of those are kind of middle of the road.
I'm saying Redskins.
I'll go Redskins at home.
Here's my favorite game for the whole weekend is Panthers-Giants. I like the Panthers winning it, but this is going to be a good game.
I like the Panthers winning it also, but I agree that it will be a good game. And Odell Beckham Jr. is worth the price of admission just by himself.
Yeah, I mean, he had another amazing catch. What was the Monday night game?
Yeah, Monday night game. Yeah,
the pylon cam. I mean, I don't know how in the world he kept that right foot in, and it was so cool because he caught the ball. The ref says no. He gets up, looks at the ref, says yes, And then he says, no. He looks at his coach and says, throw the flag. I caught that ball.
With as much certainty as he knows his own name.
Yes.
And given the fact that he was a millimeter from being out of bounds, not only was the catch amazing, but
it hit the ground. Well, he had it in his hand.
He had it in his
hit
hands,
the ground, but it never bobbled.
He had complete and total control.
When I saw it, I said, yes, is the catch, but there's no way he was in. Because he was running and then hit the brakes, and somehow that tippy toe was in there.
He is not human. I'll continue to say that. Miami and San Diego. I'll go with Miami.
You know, I like the Chargers winning this one.
What do you think about Cincinnati with the
Cincinnati? Even though he's out,
even though Dalton's gone, they've got McCarron.
I still got the Bengals beating.
I'm going to go with San Francisco. What do you think about Arizona and Philadelphia?
Cardinals.
Yeah, I agree.
We skipped the Packers and the Raiders, even though the Packers. I'm gonna say Packers.
I like the fact that Eddie Lacy seems to have risen from the dead. So I'll go with Packers.
And then we have our beloved Saints at home against the Lions on Monday. I'm gonna say the Saints.
Yeah, at home, prime time. I like that. I do. I think it'll probably be a high scoring affair, a lot of fun to watch, and I'll say the Saints also.
Okay, so going on to Mad Dash, we have Golden State. They got their first loss. What was that? Saturday night.
It was either Friday or Saturday.
It was Saturday because I was at Buffalo Wild Wings watching the UFC fights
against Milwaukee on a back-to-back games. They had gone double overtime in Boston.
Yeah,
the night, and then so you've got to play double overtime, and then you've got to travel halfway across the country.
Yeah. And it kind of seemed like bummer we didn't get it, but none of them were like blaming anybody or they just. Of course, they wanted the record and everything, but I mean, they already set single-season record.
Right.
I mean, why try and shatter all the records in 1 year? They've got an awesome squad. I cannot wait to see, where they end up. So
Christmas Day, they play Cleveland.
Yeah, that's the big matchup right there. I've got them beating Cleveland.
You'll watch?
Oh yeah,
I'll go to a movie. Yeah, I'll let you tell me how it went.
Cleveland's gonna lose.
Okay.
That's how it's going to go.
I will go see Concussion.
Now that I could keep up with it on my phone. Watch ESPN on my phone and then the movie. That might be frowned upon.
It might be.
Speaking of UFC fights, Conor McGregor, he set a record for title fight knockout, 13 seconds, and I never saw that coming because lightweight guys are it's like watching two squirrels fight over a nut. They're just all over each other, on the ground, up the ground, fist fighting.
Not a lot
like
of
crazy.
power.
No. And then 13 seconds, you get Conor McGregor swings, little sidestep, left hook, knocks him out. And actually, Aldo, on the way down, connects with the pretty strong left himself. But, man, he hit the ground and he was out. And 13 seconds. Now, a lot of people don't like going to fights for that reason. You get a 13-second, you're looking for but the fight card that whole night was awesome. And right before it, they had a middleweight title fight, and this guy Luke Reinhold, I've never even heard of the guy,
right? And
he comes and dominates. It was by far the best fight of the night, and it was just a great fight. The fight card. I didn't even want to go when a buddy of mine invited me to go. I looked at the first thing I did was pulled up the fight card,
right?
And I was like, they made some changes that I really liked. We got any other Mad Dash stuff?
Go Steelers.
Well, folks, if you want to reach us, you can go on our website, theboomerandxshow.com. We have you can go to contact us, and it'll send us an email and. Also, Twitter, we answer those tweets pretty fast, at Boomer and X Show. You can always email us directly at theboomerandxshow@yahoo.com. Facebook page, all the social media, we try and hit them all because not everybody's on everything, so we try and be on everything. And that's also the Boomer and X Show. That's where we usually post pictures and random videos and stuff like that. So Go check us out and email us. And thank you for listening, John. That's I'm all out of words. How about you?
I was all out of words about 35 seconds ago.
All right. Well, y'all take it easy.